Manager doesn't like
Thought she wasn't gonna watch it.
herself. Came out to LA, came to the fight, but Crawford just walked by and said, "I thought you weren't going to watch it, but clearly your mind has changed."
Yeah, I came here to support.
Before their September showdown, Canelo Álvarez and Terence Crawford appeared together for their first unofficial media event. While the meeting was meant to introduce the fight, the spotlight quickly shifted after Jaron Ennis unexpectedly confronted Crawford and landed a strike on him. The incident came from Ennis' long-standing frustration. He believes Crawford deliberately avoided stepping into the ring with him for years. Now, seeing Crawford move directly into a high-profile bout against Canelo only deepened that resentment, leading to the heated moment between them.
You gotta lean more towards Canelo because, like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down. And Canelo not even really a 68-pounder. He probably really should be at 60, maybe. And he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200.
At the event, Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis were also present during the buildup. As Terence Crawford was preparing to leave the stage, Jaron Ennis suddenly approached, struck him, and shoved him as tensions spilled over. Ennis is reportedly considering moving up to super welterweight and possibly even middleweight in hopes of finally securing a fight with Crawford. That decision follows several failed attempts to meet him, while both were still campaigning at welterweight. The opening press conference for the upcoming clash was held in Las Vegas, where the two fighters took part in a short Q&A session. The setup was modest, with only a small audience gathered inside a compact media room. Following the stage appearance, the fighters moved into the media area for their first official photo session and additional interviews with reporters. When asked about what happened with Jaron Ennis, Terence Crawford said the incident caught him completely off guard and called it unnecessary. He said Ennis should have spoken to him directly instead of reacting the way he did. Crawford also made it clear he had little interest in discussing it further, saying if Ennis wanted confrontation, it should happen outside the sport. He added that Ennis was not someone he viewed as a serious enough opponent to step into the ring against at this point.
And he dropping those guys like that, so I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it, so so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60 or like at least at 60, just to get his body, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavy and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything.
Jaron Ennis has spent years trying to secure a bout with Terence Crawford, but instead he now finds himself on the sidelines as Crawford prepares for a major fight against Canelo Álvarez. Ennis is widely seen as one of the rising talents in boxing, with many viewing him as a future star in the sport. He currently holds the International Boxing Federation Welterweight Championship, further establishing himself as one of the top names in the division. His frustration dates back to July 2023, when Crawford defeated Errol Spence Jr. to become the undisputed champion at 147 pounds. That victory elevated Crawford to the top of the division and left Ennis waiting for the opportunity he had hoped would eventually come.
Well, Canelo's going to run over him. What's your thoughts on that fight?
It's a good fight, 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight that everybody wants to see. So, it's a good fight.
Terence Crawford's latest appearance in the ring, where he captured a 154-pound world title against Israil Madrimov, seems to have closed the chapter on his run at welterweight. Since then, his focus has clearly shifted toward bigger challenges in higher divisions. For years, Crawford has spoken about testing himself against Canelo Álvarez, the undisputed champion at super middleweight. That long-discussed matchup finally became official this week, with both sides agreeing to meet in September. In an interview with YSM Sports Media, Jaron Ennis did not lean toward either fighter as the favorite. He described the contest as evenly balanced saying both men have a real chance to win. In his view, it is the kind of high-level matchup fans have been waiting to see, with neither side entering as a clear frontrunner.
Difficult is it to make that jump from, he only had one fight at 54, so like 147, 154 to 168 pounds.
You said how difficult is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a little difficult because you gotta, what are you gonna have to put on, like an extra 14 pounds? So he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster. I don't know. Like, it's just, you gotta add more weight and gain more muscle and stuff like that, moving up in weight and things like that. So it's a little harder, but I don't know. You know, we'll see on fight night how he'll look.
When Jaron Ennis was asked about Terence Crawford moving up in weight for the fight, he admitted it could be a serious challenge. He pointed out that adding around 14 pounds changes everything, especially when facing naturally bigger opponents with more strength and power. He said the adjustment may not be easy, and the real answer will come once the fight actually begins. Asked how Crawford can succeed, Ennis said the key is discipline. He explained that Crawford cannot afford to stand directly in front of Canelo Álvarez and absorb heavy shots. Instead, he said Crawford needs to stay sharp, control the pace, use movement, and rely on his boxing skills rather than trading power, that is, for Canelo's strategy. Ennis suggested the champion's best route is to apply pressure, force exchanges, and make Crawford deal with the size and punching strength that naturally comes with the higher division.
What does Terence Crawford have to do to be successful in that fight?
Be smart, take his time, box and move. Yeah, don't sit there and let him try to bomb on him.
What about Canelo Álvarez?
I feel like Canelo gonna press him, had to press him, everything behind the stick, and catch him, try and pull back, anything,
Jaron Ennis said he expects Canelo Álvarez to take control from the opening rounds by applying constant pressure. In his view, Canelo's approach should be to cut off the ring, step into Crawford's space, and force him backward rather than allowing him to settle into his rhythm. He believes the size advantage has to be used from start to finish, making Crawford deal with the physicality of a naturally bigger opponent. After his win over Imantas Stanionis last month, Ennis also shared more thoughts on the growing excitement around the Canelo-Crawford matchup. As one of boxing's rising names, he weighed in carefully and made it clear that moving up 2 divisions is a serious risk, even for someone as skilled as Crawford. Speaking with Fight Hub TV, Ennis said Crawford may have benefited from taking an intermediate fight at 160 pounds before stepping into a showdown with Canelo. He explained that such a bout could have helped him adjust to facing naturally larger fighters and given him experience with the extra strength and pressure that come with a higher weight class.
Is it one of those situations where you try to punch on like the smaller man's like arms?
You gonna have to bully him. You gonna have to bully the smaller guy. Don't let him dictate nothing. Show him that's your weight class.
Jaron Ennis was direct when discussing the challenge facing Terence Crawford. He emphasized that Canelo Álvarez has spent years competing at that weight and has consistently proven he can hurt much larger opponents. Ennis pointed out that Crawford is naturally the smaller fighter, while Canelo has already shared the ring with opponents who rehydrate significantly and can weigh close to 200 pounds by fight night. From his perspective, that size difference is a major factor that cannot be ignored, but he also noted that while Canelo may not have started his career as a super middleweight, he has built a reputation for breaking down and stopping bigger men in that division. According to Ennis, people who understand boxing know how difficult that makes the assignment for Crawford stepping into that environment.
You brought up, and this is just a follow-up on here, you brought up one main point that a lot of fans have been bringing up. It was like, what happens when Canelo hits him? Because he's been hurting, like you mentioned, bigger guys.
Yeah.
Crawford hasn't been fighting guys that are 200 pounds, 190 pounds on fight night.
Yeah, right. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight, at like 60 or like at least at 60, just to get his body.
Terence Crawford has said he is already well above the 168-pound super middleweight limit, reportedly around 186 pounds, showing how much his body has changed since the earlier stages of his career, when he won titles as low as lightweight at 135. That even with that added size, Jaron Ennis still believes Crawford could come up short against Canelo Álvarez. While many figures in boxing are leaning toward Canelo, Ennis and his father, Bozy Ennis, have both shared strong opinions about the matchup. They also discussed Canelo's recent performance against William Skull. On May 3rd, Álvarez won by unanimous decision, and Ennis said that fight revealed something important. He believes Canelo can become uncomfortable when an opponent closes the distance at the right moments and refuses to stay at the end of his punches. Speaking with YSM Sports Media, Ennis explained that pressure from the right type of fighter can disrupt Canelo's rhythm, especially when he is forced to reset and deal with movement combined with close-range attacks.
You told me that Terence Crawford and Canelo was a 50-50 fight. You told me Terence Crawford had a chance.
Right.
Me, I was leaning towards Canelo because of the size.
Right.
I want to apologize.
Yeah.
Because after watching that fight, I see what you were talking about.
Yeah, I'll tell you, yeah. Movement. That movement all sets everybody, man. And with Canelo, he gets frustrated. You see he walking to you and all that. If he can't touch you, you know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean?
Now, did watching that make you feel like Terence Crawford has better than a 50% chance? After watching, I know.
Continuing his breakdown of the matchup, Jaron Ennis said Canelo Álvarez can become frustrated when he cannot consistently land clean shots. He explained that when an opponent keeps moving, changes angles, and makes a miss, Canelo's rhythm can be disrupted. When asked about Terence Crawford's chances, Ennis said he believes Crawford has a real opportunity because of his complete skill set. He pointed out that Crawford can move, box, and punch, while also being the kind of fighter who stays composed in difficult moments. He added that Crawford would not approach the fight cautiously and would be willing to engage when necessary, which could create problems for Canelo. Ennis said the best strategy is to outbox Canelo early, then attack when he plants his feet and prepares to throw. He also mentioned that controlling the center of the ring could be important because it limits Canelo's ability to pressure freely. In his view, if Álvarez loses focus or leaves openings, Crawford has the ability to capitalize and potentially stop him.
Law back in the day, but now this is supposed to be a new and improved Canelo.
Yeah. I think, like I said, Terence got a great chance to beat him, man. You know what I mean? Terence can box, Terence can move, Terence can punch. You know what I mean? Terence ain't gonna be doing like Skull. Terence gonna fight you. You know what I mean? He's Terence from the streets, man. You know what I mean? He know what to do. You know what I mean? When it comes down to it, I think he's gonna wind up frustrating Canelo. You know what I mean?
When reminded that Canelo Álvarez is known for his durability and has never been cleanly tested by Terence Crawford, Jaron Ennis responded by stressing that power alone isn't enough. Timing and placement matter more than raw strength. He acknowledged that Canelo has faced strong punchers before, but argued that the key is whether those shots are landed correctly and consistently. Ennis also suggested that body work could be an important factor in the fight. He explained that sustained attacks downstairs might force Canelo to adjust his guard, potentially opening up opportunities upstairs later in the bout. In his view, that kind of tactical pressure could be one of the few ways to break down a fighter as strong and experienced as Canelo. Meanwhile, discussions around Ennis himself have also intensified. A potential matchup between him and Teofimo Lopez has been gaining attention, with promoter Eddie Hearn stating that negotiations are ongoing for a possible fight. However, the situation has not been straightforward. Lopez has publicly suggested that Ennis is avoiding the matchup, adding more tension to the growing speculation around a future showdown between the two fighters.
You beat Boots by unanimous decision. Yeah, I'm a dog him, for sure. I'm a dog that boy. They never face a fighter like me. No more backflips, protect your knees.
In a heated message directed at Jaron Ennis and his father, Bozy Ennis, Teofimo Lopez didn't hold back. He questioned Ennis' willingness to take on top competition, arguing that someone representing Philadelphia should be eager to face the strongest challengers in the division. Lopez went further, criticizing the idea that Ennis avoids high-risk fights and even challenged the authenticity of his Philadelphia fighter identity, using recent city pride moments to emphasize his point. His comments added more fuel to the ongoing tension between the two camps. At the same time, it has been made clear that a bout between Lopez and Ennis is not currently happening, despite ongoing speculation and fan interest. Promoter Turki Alishik has previously shown optimism about the matchup, suggesting it could be made under the right circumstances. Ennis, meanwhile, has expressed interest in pursuing the remaining major welterweight titles, currently held by fighters such as Mario Barrios and Brian Norman Jr., signaling that he remains focused on unifying the division rather than stepping away from it.
If you're on here and your father's on here, Bozy, listen to me. You bozos. How you claim yourself from Philly and you don't want to fight the best? Man, y'all putting Philly down and Philly just won. Shout out to Philadelphia Eagles for winning the chip. Come on, bro. I don't think you from Philly. Any questions? Yeah, no boots fight then. No boots fight. They said no.
A matchup involving Mario Barrios now appears unlikely, as he is reportedly preparing for a high-profile bout against Manny Pacquiao scheduled for July 19th. Meanwhile, tensions remain unresolved between the camps of Jaron Ennis and Brian Norman Jr. after earlier discussions failed to lead to an agreement. Talk of a potential fight between Teofimo Lopez and Ennis continues to circulate, with many considering it a compelling stylistic clash. Both fighters have impressed in their most recent outings, adding to the anticipation surrounding a possible meeting. Ennis, in particular, drew attention after his strong performance against Imantas Stanionis. The Philadelphia-based fighter is widely praised for his sharp footwork, precise punch selection, and proven finishing ability, traits that have made him one of the most talked-about rising names in the sport.
Teofimo Lopez has mentioned that a potential fight with you and him may be down the road. I think Turkey's even said that. Just overall, your thoughts on that, Jaron?
Like I said before, I'm not worried about nobody else outside of Imantas Stanionis. I'm locked in on him. I'm just locked in on him. I'm zoned in on Stanionis. I'm here to collect belts at 147 and show out. And that's what I'm going to do.
Teofimo Lopez has repeatedly shown he tends to elevate his performance in major fights, highlighted by standout wins over Vasily Lomachenko and Josh Taylor that in his latest outing against Arnold Barboza Jr. He again displayed sharp timing and clean execution that had been less consistent in some of his previous performances. The fight served as another reminder of his ability to look more refined when the stakes are high at the same time. There has been ongoing discussion about Lopez's struggles to comfortably make the 147-pound welterweight limit. Reports have suggested he has considered moving up to junior middleweight in the past, but he ultimately remained at welterweight with the goal of adding more titles to his resume. Even so, despite previously achieving success at higher levels and capturing major belts, the likelihood of him securing another welterweight title in the near future appears uncertain, especially given the depth of competition in the division.
I figured it being so close to the fight too as well. You're kind of like tunnel vision when it comes to your opponent. And the only reason why I ask is because, Turkey had mentioned that if Teo gets past Barboza, we could see a fight with you and Teofimo. I know Top Rank tried to make that fight as well. So I was just curious now, what do you think of Teofimo as a fighter?
He's a good fighter, good fighter. That's about it.
Brian Norman Jr. is scheduled to face Gene Sasaki, while Mario Barrios is set for a bout with Manny Pacquiao, who continues to compete at 46 years OLD at the same time. There is ongoing discussion about whether a fight with Teofimo Lopez makes sense for the welterweight picture. Promoter Eddie Hearn has raised questions about whether it is realistic for fighters to repeatedly cut down to 147 pounds for high-level matchups, especially given how demanding the weight limit can be. That he also reflected on recent performances, noting that Jaron Ennis looked strong in his latest outing, though certain physical or medical indicators suggested there may still be room for improvement depending on his weight class. In Hearn's view, Ennis could potentially perform even better at 154 pounds, where the weight cut would be less draining. Despite that, the current plan still appears to center around staying at 147 for unification opportunities. A potential clash with Lopez remains attractive if both fighters remain in the division, but if Ennis moves up, the focus would likely shift toward 154-pound competition instead, leaving the welterweight unification picture more fragmented.
That's about it?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. That's about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were going to add or anything like that.
No. I say he's a good fighter. That's about it.
Okay. Brian Norman Jr. got a knockout win. I know you guys tried to make a fight previously. He had mentioned in a group huddle with us that he just didn't like being cornered in his opinion, when it came to that fight. Just, you know what happened.
Jaron Ennis has been described by promoter Eddie Hearn as a rare case in modern boxing, with the suggestion that he is less motivated by money and more focused on legacy. Hearn indicated that while financial incentives matter, Ennis is primarily driven by the goal of collecting titles and proving himself at the highest level, even if it means pushing his body to the limit to stay at 147 pounds. That he added that Ennis is willing to go through significant physical strain for unification opportunities, including the possibility of high-profile fights, such as a matchup with Teofimo Lopez. However, he also noted that such decisions require careful timing, as the demands of the welterweight division are becoming increasingly difficult to manage. According to Hearn, Ennis brought in additional nutritional support to help manage his weight more effectively ahead of his fight with Imantas Stanionis. On fight night, Ennis appeared significantly larger and stronger, and he delivered a dominant performance, but concerns about the weight cut still remained. Hearn acknowledged that the process was still challenging, even if not as extreme as earlier fights, such as the one against Karen Chikadzean. He also admitted that many observers noted how tight Ennis looked on the scale, reinforcing the idea that continuing to drain down to 147 pounds may become increasingly unsustainable in the long term.
That fight, Jaron, just give us your perspective on that and him saying those comments.
I ain't gonna lie, I don't even know what you're talking about. I've been so locked in and zoned in on what I got going on. I ain't been worrying about nobody else doing nothing. Like, I just been going to the gym, training, locking in books and things like that, even coloring a little bit. I'm just so focused on what I got going on. I really ain't been on social media. I post whatever I post.
Jaron Ennis has suggested that success in boxing is not just about whether a fighter can make a weight limit, but whether they can still perform at their absolute peak once they get there. He indicated that even in recent performances, including the bout with Imantas Stanionis, he felt Ennis may not have shown the very best version of himself, something he believes could change significantly if he moves up to 154 pounds, where strength and punching power would likely be enhanced at the same time. Discussions around the potential clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Álvarez continue to grow, with former Canelo opponent Caleb Plant sharing his perspective on the matchup. Plant, who lost to Canelo in 2021 via an 11th round stoppage, acknowledged that weight divisions exist for a reason, especially given Crawford's reported jump toward a much higher weight class. However, he also made clear that Crawford is not a typical fighter, describing him as a rare talent with exceptional mental toughness and adaptability, that he praised both athletes highly, noting that Canelo remains among the elite pound-for-pound fighters in boxing, while Crawford brings a unique blend of skill, intelligence, and determination that makes him extremely difficult to dismiss. In Plant's view, neither man can be taken lightly, and both have the tools to make the fight highly competitive. But he also suggested that stylistically, the matchup would likely be far more engaging for fans than a cautious or overly defensive fight, as neither Crawford nor Canelo are known for simply surviving in the ring. With both fighters combining experience, power, and championship pedigree across multiple divisions, Plant described the potential showdown as one of the most intriguing fights in modern boxing.
Of Canelo over the weekend, did that look like the same type of Canelo you fought a few years ago? And yeah, what did you think of that?
No, I don't think it's the same Canelo. Not quite, but also I kind of figured it was going to be like that, honestly. I heard Canelo say in the interview, like, I don't really like fighting guys who move around that much like that. And William Skull being a Cuban fighter, like, I knew he was going to do that. And so was curious to see, how Canelo would handle that.
Terence Crawford is expected to move up in weight to challenge Canelo Álvarez for the undisputed super middleweight championship on September 13th in Las Vegas, with the exact venue still to be finalized. Canelo, who previously earned a points victory over Jermall Charlo in September 2023, continues to be viewed as a dominant force at 168 pounds. Some observers argue that his consistency and size at the weight give him a natural advantage heading into this matchup. There are differing opinions around Crawford's decision to jump multiple divisions. One viewpoint suggests that while the financial reward is significant, Crawford may not display the same physical explosiveness he once had at lower weights, such as when he defeated Yuriorkis Gamboa earlier in his career. Others believe the challenge comes down to whether Crawford can successfully adapt to a heavier, stronger division without sacrificing speed and timing. Some analysts argue that adding muscle could impact his reaction time and overall sharpness, while others feel his technical skill may still translate effectively. As debate continues, opinions remain divided on whether the move up in weight will enhance Crawford's legacy or expose limitations against a naturally larger opponent like Canelo.